Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's so good to see all of us here. Oh, so very good to see all of us here. My name is Dervis Gaskin. Jamaican Canadian. I don't even know what to say. I'm just so happy to be among all my people here and just savoring it and looking at all the things on the wall and stuff like that. And they say our color is from Africa, and Africa still amazes me. I would like to go there one day and search for the Garden of Eden. Because somebody said that's where it's hidden. The Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve first had their chance to walk around naked and they didn't even know it. Anyway, storytelling. I was born in a little hillside hamlet, as we call it in Jamaica. Little hillside hamlet in St. Catherine, which is one of the parishes of Jamaica. And I was born into a family of about 8 brothers and sisters and mother and father. When I came to realize what was happening, or understand what was happening, maybe I was around age 7 or 8 and going to school. I went to school from a very early age, started going to school from age 4 because I followed four sisters and brothers before me, so I would cry and run and follow them. So my mother sent me along, and teachers didn't object, so I continued going along. But we learned to read from a very early age, at home as a matter of fact, and we learned to read the Bible. And from very early, we had to wake up very early in the mornings, and we also had to say our prayers. We also had to gather around in the little, we call it our hall. That was what we call the living room now. And we would gather around there, but we were not happy because our parents were waking us up too early, so we were not happy. So we would be singing and praying and pouting at the same time, because we didn't want to get up that early. None of you here have ever experienced that kind of thing. None at all, because you are born into a different era. Those days we had no radio. We had no TV, no cell phone, no internet. But we were happy. After the pouting, when our parents were telling us to do things that we didn't really want to do, but we had to. Give you an example. In the mornings, when we woke up, after saying the prayers and all that, we had to go to the fields. We had to go move the goats, the cows, the donkeys, whatever animals we had. We had to move them to a fresh place where they could get fresh grass to eat, water to drink for the day, because those days were hot, water to drink in the middle of the day, get back home after maybe getting things like breadfruit, vegetables, callaloo, cabbage, bringing it back home, get home where our mother was preparing breakfast. We'd have our breakfast and we had to get to school all before 9 o'clock. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. We did it those days because we were, I suppose, trained to do it, and that was our life. That was what we had to do. But fast forward to, I'm going to tell you a funny story. Fast forward to my father. He used to also milk the cows in the mornings, put the cows in pans. We had to put the milk, in pans where we had to take the milk to our neighbors and measure out to them whether it was a pint, half a pint, or whatever of milk, and then they would pay us for it later. But what I'm telling you all these stories for is just to give you an idea of our way of life then. And that was long, long years ago. Long before any of you were ever thought of. Even your parents, because that was in like 1940 something, going to 50 something. Long time. Anyway, I'll give you the story about my father and his best cow that he milked. He had to milk the cow to supply the milk to our neighbors in the district so that they could get their milk for their tea or their coffee or their porridge to send their children to school. My father had a few cows, and my first brother, they would go early in the morning to milk the cows. One morning they got there, they realized that there was no milk coming from the cows when they were milking the cows. So they started to wonder, another morning. So they said somebody must be milking the cows so that we couldn't get any milk. Because in the night they had to tie the calf away from the mother so that it wouldn't get to suckle on the mother so that we could get enough milk in the morning. They made a plan now, my father and my brother made a plan now. We are going to move this cow from this spot and put our bull cow there. See who is doing this. So they arrived one morning and they hid in the back and they watched. There came this man. He had one eye too because he had a patch over one eye. There came this man and the cow, the bull that was tied there was I don't know what we call it, you call it, bulls. You guys all know what a bull cow is, do you? Mm-hmm. Definitely you would. Even though you were, well, a lot of people don't know because in Canada now, everything is so modernized and everything is so city-fied rather than countrified. There came this man up to the bull, going to milk this bull cow. So when they saw this man, my father ran out and said, the man's name was Daniel. Mr. Dan, when he went up to the cow and the cow nearly, the horns nearly didn't hurt him, but the cow would have hurt him if he continued to do what he was doing. And my father went up to him and said, Mr. Dan, you've been milking my cow so I can't get any milk? And he just let him go. My father we called him stupid in those days behind his back. But he was very, very generous. So these are the things that happened our time. And that we had a big laugh about that after. And I don't know, our parents were kind of different. Different from me as a parent anyway. But I think I've kept talking long enough. But a quick little history about me. I came in Jamaica, we went to school, we finished elementary school. Then after elementary school, there was no high school to go because we lived in the country There were no buses or cars or taxis to take us to the high school. So we had to stay in, were forced to stay in elementary school, because rather than leave school and there was nothing to do, there were no jobs, there were nowhere else to go, no carpenters shops, no mechanic shop to learn anything from. So we just stood around and we took the exams. Some of us took the exams over and over and over. I remember passing one of the exams, the same exam 4 times. But what it did, instead of getting lazy or instead of getting into any other thing, we just did the exams. But what I found out after was that I knew the studies so well that I was able to help my younger ones following me and my friends. I was able to tutor them right there. So life was interesting. I think those days life was much more interesting than now. I think it was, I believe it was. And I wish I could go back to Jamaica and wish I could go back to Jamaica and just relive some of those days, but it's not possible.
Thank you so very much. I shall introduce Mr. Gordwin Ifedi.
My name is Gordwin. I'm going to try and stand and sit because my legs get tired after a while. I just want to tell you my life story from 2013, because I haven't had a long life. I was born in Nigeria. I left Nigeria when I was quite young. Like John, I went on a scholarship and I studied occupational therapy in the UK. And from there I moved to Canada. And I had worked in various hospitals, and the last job I had was with the Ottawa Public Health, doing health education for new immigrants and refugees. So when I retired in 2013, I felt that I had to do something, because most of my life has been spent around giving back to others, helping others, improve the quality of their lives. Before I retired, I had also been doing a lot of volunteer work. I was president of the Nigerian Canadian Association, and then I joined Black History Ottawa, which does the Black History Month events, which you may have heard about in February. So I was their president for several years. And then, so giving back was part of my life. So when I retired, I thought, okay, I'm a very busy person. I'm very restless. I can't just sit at home and do nothing because I'm retired. So I decided I got a job with the Ottawa Community Immigrant Services Organization, OCISO. Has anybody here heard about OCISO?
Yeah.
Yes? You've heard about OCISO. So what we do is that we welcome new immigrants and refugees, and we help them with things like housing, education, employment, and so on. So I got that job, and it's part-time, and it's a very rewarding, helping newcomers to adjust to Canada, because it's a very traumatic experience for many of them trying to adjust to a new country. So it's something I love doing, because if you love what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work. I also, during this time, I've been serving on the board of directors of Black History Ottawa. So our flagship event is the Black History Month, which is done every February. And we put together a calendar of events that celebrate the contribution of people of African descent to Canada. And we've been doing that for many, many years. And then the biggest thing, my biggest accomplishment and my passion, the love of my life, is the newspaper I started. I started an online newspaper focusing on the Black community in Ottawa. The newspaper is called Black Ottawa Scene. Has any of you heard of Black Ottawa Scene? No? Okay, I'll give you my card before I leave. It's a monthly newspaper, and we cover events in the Black community, African, Caribbean, and Black. So any event that is happening in Ottawa that focuses on the Black community, because I felt that the regular media, the mainstream media, doesn't tell our stories the right way, not from our own perspective. The mainstream media will focus on dramatic and events that are very, very eye-catching. So if a black person, holds up a bank, it will make headline news. If we are involved in human trafficking, it makes headline news. But if we invent a cure for cancer, it goes in the back pages. So we want to tell our story from our own perspective. So I started this newspaper in 2013, and it's all done by volunteers, me as volunteer, the top volunteer. And we've been doing this since 2013, every month. And whatever is happening in the black community, we cover it. Independence Day celebrations in the schools, weddings, obituaries, you name it. Anything that paints a positive image of the black community, we publish it. It's called Black Ottawa Scene. Google it, Black Ottawa Scene, SCENE. And it's all done by volunteer level. All of us are volunteers, and I have students from universities, I have journalism students, I have all kinds of volunteers that join with me in publishing this newspaper. So it's one of my biggest passions, and I spend a lot of hours working on it. And so if you hear of any event that is happening in the black community and you want it promoted, get back to me. I'll get one of our reporters to come and cover it. Like this event you're doing tonight, I'm going to make sure that it's reported because it's a very important initiative by the Sokonji here. It's not every day that you bring young people and seniors together to talk to each other. So I think anything that is worth reporting, we report it. But we don't only report positive events. We challenge our readers to tell us about the problems we are having. We have a lot of problems. We know that, for instance, in the school system, the dropout rate for black kids is a lot higher than other people. The only other group that has a higher dropout rate are the indigenous peoples. We are second. And yet, our population is not reflected in our population. So we've been involved, I've been involved with John and a few others in doing some research studies to find out why is it that our children are not doing well in school, they're dropping out. Why are they getting into bad company? And the things we found, most of it was based on systemic racism. Racism affects a lot of what we do. Yeah. But we have to tell that story because the mainstream media will not tell that story. So that's what we're doing. And we've now partnered with the Calvin University program in journalism. So now the second year students to work under me. I mentor them. So this is their opportunity to practice journalism in the real workplace. And we've had this relationship for over 3 years. And then, so it's a win-win situation, but it's a lot of work. So if any of you is interested, if you're doing creative writing and so on, if you write short stories, if you want to get involved in volunteer work as a reporter or photographer, get in touch with me. I'll help, it will be a very good learning experience for you. Okay. So the last event, the last initiative I've been involved in, because I'm involved in so many things, I can't sit still. So 2 years ago, I started a social club for seniors. Because one of the things about being a senior is that, first of all, you've worked all your life. Some of us have worked for 30 years, 40 years, even longer. And then when you retire, suddenly, instead of working 40 hours a week, you wake up in the morning, there's nothing to do. It can kill you, just boredom. Having nothing to do is not healthy. And especially for those of us who come from hot climates. In the winter, people are housebound. There are seniors who sit at home and watch TV all day long. It's not healthy. So with this club, the first thing we did was, when we established this club, we are self-managing. We manage ourselves. We decide what we do, when we do it, how we do it, and where we do it. And I'm the program coordinator, the volunteer program coordinator. Luckily, John and his association, are helping us as sponsors. And so the first thing, one of the first goals we have is to make sure that our seniors know about services and programs that are available to them. Many of them are not aware of the programs and services that are available to them. So we make sure that we tell them and we put it on our website. The second thing we do is that we want to get people out of the house. Because the biggest challenge seniors have is social isolation. it leads to depression, it leads to all kinds of physical and mental health problems. So if we do an event, we arrange to make sure that they